Hello everybody. So my name is Akshay, and today we are going to talk about talking with tech leads by Patrick Kua, and we are from the team Emma. So there is four people are going to present today: Rahul, myself, Shashwat, and Girish. So this book has been written by Patrick Kua. So keeping that in mind is that uh, like what are the challenges our tech leads are facing in their career. So he thought, okay, there is no any particular blog or article related to that. So he decided and he has wrote a book on that. Talking about Patrick Kua, he has worked in TeamList, so ThoughtWorks, sorry, not TeamList. So ThoughtWorks for around 10 years, and based on his experience, what are things he has come across. So based on that, he has written a book, and what he has done that while writing his book, before that, he has sent a set of questions to the people are working as a team lead or a tech lead in the different organizations, and based on their feedback on what are the experience they have gone through, based on their response, he has created two parts. One is novices, one is practitioners. So I'm going to talk about practitioners. So that is that part will come in the second slide. So if you go to practitioners here, so what Patrick has done based on the response what he has got from the team leads from the different organizations, he has segregated these things to the four parts. One is people, other one is the tech of a tech lead, other third one is bridging business with the tech, and you. So people is nothing but I'm going to talk about the people. So what is that people he is talking about? So people is like there is before he starting the book on the people, there is a one tagline is that that has been given by some anonymous person. So what is telling like people is a like when you're forming a team. So if you, the team members are the group of people are just not a team. So when they become a team, so when they're working towards a common goal, so then it will be called as a team. So that is a one person asset. So who has becomes a pivotal part in the making the team. So that is mainly by the your team lead. So he has to keep the people in the same goal. So then we can achieve what the target we want to achieve. So that is about the one anonymous guy has mentioned this one. So Patrick has mentioned in his book, and also he has divided people into four things based on his feedback what he has got from the different team leads, and also his observation he has put into that. So what he has taken out the points is that first one is remaining technically grounded. So remaining a technical ground is nothing but like when we become a tech lead, what is the tendency as a developer? So from a developer to the next level, I'll go to as a tech lead. So there's a tendency that I'll be always thinking about the coding parts. So, and also I'm always thinking that okay, the technical lead job is such a way that he's the main person who has to take a major PBA, which is having technical challenges. And all this mindset as a new tech lead will be having things. So that is completely wrong. So the main thing what the tech lead has to think is that uh, so taking the complex technical challenge is not his main work. His main thing is like he has to manage the things and he has to make a uh, one-on-one session with your teammates. So you has to understand teammates. So what are the areas of interest they are having, and delegating the proper work to them. That is his main job. So it's not like always thinking about like he is the main person who has to take the technical difficult jobs. That is about the remaining technical groups. And the next one is finding and developing good people. So there's a main challenges for the tech lead will be the finding making a good team. So there's a two things will be there when he's recruiting the people. So the main thing what he has to look for is like what kind of positive attitude he's having and his aptitude, and whether the team member what he's bringing to the team is very fits in very well to the company culture, team culture. That is the main challenge what he's having. So because the labor market completely dynamics, so that's what he's telling. And okay, apart from the recruiting the new people in the teams, second part will be the people who are working in our team. So how you engage with them. So what are going to make them very interesting. So we have to understand their interest area and which area they're very interested, and assign a such a kind of work so that they'll take a challenge on that. So that is also grooming the people. That is also main role comes under the people. And listen to the teams. Yeah, this is a major quality what has a every tech lead is to have. What is mentioning in his book like what happens in such a sometime like there's a situation there is a lot of there is some technical problems arise in the team, and and he has to understand how to get the core solution for this. So he has to get a he has to put a question to the team what kind of solution we can go for that. So what happens, there is a tendency from the developers is that he always goes for the solution rather than the what is the better way he can find out for that. So as a tech lead he need to have a good questioning skills, so that he need to understand what are things he need to ask, and after that he has to derive from that. That is the skill he has to develop. So first he has to listen to the team what has to be done, and based on that he has to put a proper question so that he can get the output on that, and based on that he can make the decision. Appreciating individual strength, that is also very important. So we have to, there is a mixed kind of technical knowledge people will be having. One person might be very good in particular coding part, and another person is very good in making the your patterns. So we have to understand different technology, what kind of things he is looking into, and you have to appreciate the people there on based on their strengths. So that is he has to do uh, time to time. That is what is been mentioned under the people. So I'll go to the people who are coming as like mainly what has Patrick has done based on the he has sent a question to different people. So he categorized the people. I mean categorized the team leads under the different sections, different teams I can say. So some people are coming under people he's thinking. So first person which I have taken a random way, there is around 10 tech leads are coming around people. So first one which has taken is a Allison's Rose one. So her tagline is what should a tech lead focus and why? So she is always worried about team engagement and want everyone to be challenged with the work they do, spending one-on-one with the generally best way to get interest and enthusiasm. So that's what she thinks, and she's mainly under the team management. So this is about Alison Roseman. Her she's mainly focusing on the team. And next one is Mr. Humphrey Elton. His tagline is team also. So Humphrey, what is expected to lead people who are professional without pretensions? I do not expect to overall see the code. I do, however, expect teams to work together. For me, developer skills with personal relationship and communication are as important as code writing. So possibly more so. Mix of abilities in the team means that guns have to help junior developers and give them space to learn themselves. I have fewer issues of sometimes mistake and even inefficient code. So he's mainly to the personal relationship and communication. He thinks that is also major important, rather writing the code and always focusing on writing code, and not only technical part, personal relation also very important. He's mentioned in his uh, blog. I'm not in blog. I'm talking about on by the Patrick Ua. So this is the feedback he has got on from Humphrey Elton. And in the area of software development, what is telling memory is very cheap, CPU is also cheap, but writing the complex tool is very difficult and maintaining was very difficult. So do not ask me to write a disk subsystem. So he's always focusing on writing quality of the code. That is also his main intention when he's managing the team. And sorry, what third the third point what Humphreys Elton is always telling is like he's always thinking about the two factors when he's managing the team. First one is like always he thinks that if the team is making so much noise, that means that they are too unproductive, or something they are not making right decision, or if they're too silent, what he's thinking that something is not going in the right direction and code will not combine well. So these two things he always follows. So if they're making so much noise, then something is not working out, and if he's making not making so much noise also, something he has to put his head on that why it is not why they're so much silent. So there is any problem with the coordinations, or that is also a way of managing the team. This is by Humphrey Elton. And third person which I have taken in my slides is Jason Selby. Jason Selby is always think that he's a team dynamics. Team dynamics, what he's telling Selby, sorry. So once you stop focusing on being an individual contributor, the health of the team culture is most valuable area that tech lead can greatly influence and directly affects the team performance. There are many things that tech lead can do impact the culture and dynamics. You can identify and address external and internal conflicts early, coach individual technical and behavioral improvements, and clear roadblocks to keep the team from spinning on external constraints. So his main, if I take the overall summary from this, what Jason Selby is telling is once you come out from your developer zone, there is one when you are a developer, there is always you think that okay, the main thing is will be the individual contribute mindset will be there. So I'm working on my piece of work, I'm have to achieve that one. But once you become a team lead, you have to think on more on the team aspects, and you have to understand any external internal conflicts is happening in the team and checking the health of the team. These are all very important. So that's what Jason Selby has mentioned. Uh, so these are all people who are coming under the people. So that's a theme which is given by Patrick Ua. So I have taken three people under that. Next I'm going to the next theme what Patrick has mentioned is tech cafe tech lead. So this is as again I'm telling, this is something that what he has taken out from the response from the different tech leads. So based on that, he has created themes. So this is a second theme what he has taken out. Like is a tech of a tech lead is a thing, but like what he's thinking, like there's some tech leads what he has given their response. Like yeah, there is a rather than it's not always about team management. There is also something extra tech lead has to take a care is that is. Taking the technical responsibilities and identifying the task and strategies how we can solve this technical risk if it is happening anything in the system. So those are all the part of the tech lead job. So under that it has been categorized to four things. One is guiding the technical solution, harmonizing the team direction, managing technical risk, and taking a longer term view. So guiding the technical solution is what he is mentioning in particular book is nothing but like is mainly telling about as a tech lead, he has to be always take the final say for the technical solution. So there is a situation what happens. Uh, some there is some technical debt comes in your application. So he has to take a feedback from the different people and different. He might go for the external people also. So he's the main person who has to take the final go for that, guiding the technical solution. That is a very important on that. And next one, harmonize the team direction. Yeah, there is a sometime what happens when the technical difficulty comes or technical challenges comes. So there's a tendency that different people have different opinion on that. So sometime it go to the healthy direction. The discussion might go to the healthy. Sometime it what happens discussion might not go to the proper direction. It might go to the haywire. So as a tech lead, the job of the tech lead is to make the team in the proper direction, keep them in a proper direction, and take the proper output from the team. So he has to keep the team in harmonizing a harmonized state so that all people are working on the common goal. So that is very important. That's been mentioned in the book. And managing technical risk, yeah. So that is also very important for the tech lead. So he has to understand, identify the task which is upcoming technical risk like example, if I'm working on my organization, we are thinking about a TBA, so that will be like we'll have the vision. Okay, I mean not in the vision. I can say that this is like upcoming items. It will might create technical debt. So there is a technical challenge might come up. So he has to create identify those tasks and he has to prioritize those. So that is also the major role of the tech lead. Taking a longer term view, yeah, definitely. When the tech lead is there, the tech lead main of other job of the tech lead is to he has to think about the longer term view, how we can improvise the application and how we can provide security and also functional aspects whether it is met with the properly with the business. All these things he has to take in care. That is of the tech cafe tech lead, and I'll go to the people who has spoke about these who are in line with the technical and also with the team management. The person who is this person is Martin Gustafsson. Gustafsson, I guess so. Yeah, might be not right in the pronouncing his name, but he's Martin. So what he's telling is his tagline is enablement and solution design. So when what he's talking about like enablement should come first and foremost. Ensure the team has room to work effectively, shield it from company politics, spontaneous meetings, and other distractions. At the same time, focus on transparency by describing what happening around the team, changes in direction from the business, or what may be coming up in the future. Yeah, that is enablement he's talking about. And solution design comes as a close second. I try to identify work patterns over time. I ask questions such as, do we write the same function more than once, and if so, can we consolidate the different versions, or is our current data store good fit for other data, or should we use a different language for everything, or just for certain components. So a few points which I have taken from his uh, how from his response. So something is like read much as code possible, set as a few rules as possible. Code wins arguments. Be your own harshest critic. There is always a better way, but what is the most feasible solution right now? So always address operation experts early on. So this is about Martin. So he mainly thinks on like he's mainly focused on. His main point is that keep the team away from the distractions, so and let them focus on their work. If there is any politics, spontaneous meeting, you have to make them away from this. That is the main thing what he's stressing on his point. Yeah, this is about Martin, and next I'll go to the Peter Moran. So his tagline is champion quality. So what he is talking is like I focus most of my thoughts on two main concerns: how to develop good software design principles and practice in people, how to get the best out of the technologies working together in teams. So he has mentioned about certain points. So they're like when you have a people who know their technology well and how to apply it sensibly, they are motivated and can collaborate with those around them. You have the basis for high performing software delivery, and these are learned skills that can develop in the right environment with the right leadership. So I believe a good tech leader need to work hard to foster them and help individual and team grow in their capabilities in these areas. So this is about the Peter Moran which has taken. So this is comes on a second theme. So there's a tech of tech lead, and next one is bridging the business with tech. So under that there is a 3 points will comes. One is building trust, finding time for technology, making solution easy to understand. So I'll talk about these points in elaborate way. So, okay, when it comes to the building trust part is like the tech lead has to make a balance between the developers and the stakeholders. So what happens sometimes there's a perception all the time from the stakeholders like what are the time we are spending on technical depths? Is it giving in a worth of time or not? So these things has to be properly communicated with the stakeholders. So tech lead has to make sure them that what are the time you spend on the technical activities, it is a worth for the product, and that building trust he has to make with the business people. So that is a main part of the tech lead. So that comes under bridging the business with the tech. So that is what he has mentioned in the building trust. And next one is a finding time for technology. Yeah, as a tech lead, he is constantly very busy with dealing with I mean, he talking with the business analyst people or project managers. So and also he has to spend time with the developers also. So he get a less time with the spending time on the technology. So he has to spend at least a few time on the technology or application. So that will be, so he has to focus major areas such as how we can improve the design and how we can refactor the code, and those are all the parts. He will be a pivotal part for the tech lead. So he has to contribute more on those areas, and that is mainly comes under the finding time for technology. And the other thing is making technology solution easy to understand. So this is something like what happens sometime when the business people talk, when we are talk as a tech lead, he has to have a right balance between the developers and the business people. So he should know the proper communications and how we talk with the business people, and it should be less with the technical terms, and so that they will understand very easily. And when it comes to developers, so what are the business has been I mean, what are the functionality has taken from the business people, so it has to be properly passed to the developer so that they can easily understand. So sometimes what happens that as a developer, when he's directly speaking the business, he used to try to use a lot of the technical terms. So, this is the main role of the tech lead, is our team leader. You can say that he is the bridge between the both two people. So he has to be very good in the communication. So he has to focus on those areas. That is also pivotal part for the team lead. So this is about the bridging with the business with the tech. So I have taken few people under that. So there's a lot of people are under that. I thought few people are little. I find it very interesting on the certain people, so I've taken those points and I put it in my PPT. So first one is Ryan Kinderman. So he's a bridge to the business. What Ryan is telling, like as a team lead or tech lead, he should be. They are the main person who will think and decide what technology to use, understand how to use technology properly to deliver the desired functionality, and establish an approach for the development that will done to build the necessary features, including how the development task should be broken up, organized, prioritized, and also maintaining high level of quality for what is developed. Protecting developed functionality against regression as behavior changes over time. Earn the respect and trust of act an equal and development team by participating in code reviews, pairing with the development task, facilitating an open discourse on decision being made. So this is Ryan Kinnaman has mentioned. So he's a part on the bridge to the business. So these people who are coming under this, they are like they are putting the priority both on the technology also on the business also. So they're like they are thinking like all the time they have to be spend time with the business people also with the developers. So and the next guy who has taken is Simon Brown. So he thinks this tech teams and architecture. So what he's telling about teams and architecture is like the the team tech lead is ambiguous. So some consider the tech lead to the lead programmer, some see it as a synonym of software architect. I prefer software architect because it implies a set of responsibilities that aren't so obvious when you see them term tech lead. So whatever term you use, the role should be focused on putting to high level architecture of the software system, taking care to understand any requirements or constraints that influence the architecture. Architecture need to evolve over time, and focus needs to be put on the continuous technical leadership to guard that architecture and ensure technical quality. Um, this is about Simon Brown. And next theme, what I'm going about is a U. So U is completely about how you define the technical roles, or I mean technical lead roles. Is up to you. So under that, there's a 3 points has been made, like adapting to new circumstances, making yourself redundant, and using your own strengths. Yeah, when you come to the adapting new circumstances, like as a developer, what happens when the tech lead is mainly comes to the from the developer position to the tech lead position? So there is a, like as a developer, there is a challenge like adding the new libraries onto the system, so and finding a new solution for the new, I mean, adapting the new programming languages. That is completely onto the developer part. So he'll be focusing on those kind of areas. But when it comes to team lead or tech lead, there is a tendency that he might encounter a lot of different situations. So he has to adapt to the different strategies, how he can adapt, and that is the main area he's talking about, adapting the new circumstances. And other one is making yourself redundant. So when you come to the making yourself redundant, this is about like as a tech lead, he should not always thinking about the technology part, or he should not take all the high priority work on his kitty. So what happens, there is a tendency that sometimes what happens, the developers feel the work is boring, so he might look for the new areas, new challenging, or he might look for the new team. So he has to make them occupied, and he has to make the things are very interesting. So what are the technical challenges work comes, he has to delegate those work to the teammates, rather he's working alone on those kind of work. So that is about making yourself redundant, they're talking about. So using your own strength. So as a sometime what happens, like when we become some particular, when you take over the lead position, so we should understand our strengths. So I might be very good in communication part, I might be very good in talking to the business people, but I might have uh, little less knowledge on the technical things, or deepest skills on the technical areas. So you should use those skills, which is your potential area, go according to that. That is what is talking about in using your own strengths. So I have taken one person on this particular theme, so that is Joel Tosi. So what he's talking about, lead from behind. So when Joel talking about his part is like what he has mentioned, like ultimately as a tech lead, you determine the leader you will be. It is easy to identify what I worry about as a tech lead. I don't want to become a dependence or a title. This concern has actually made me consider turning down leadership roles before. When I was first asked to lead the situation architect at Red Hat, I nearly turned it down. So I felt that the team was working fine together, and there wasn't any need for delineation amongst us. I struggled to see what a void the tech lead would fill, and more importantly, how it would make the team better. In hindsight, I realized that was more reflection of me and than the title or a position. So title of the tech lead is what you make it, unless your manager use it as a micromanagement tool, which I have seen. So the most important thing a tech lead should focus on is not leading. The word lead implies that other people are subservient and following. So I prefer to focus on facilitating environments where we can all learn from each other and everyone can do their best. Whether I am helping my team members to review code or architecture, or simply listening to them, I never want to come across as authoritative, or but I seek to understand their position. For example, if someone is choosing to certain algorithm that might not agree with, but I do my best to understand their thought process in reaching that decision. So as opposed to saying, well, that is O square 2, and I think you can do it in O of n. So that is something he's telling. This is we have to practice it. So the Joel Tosi is mainly focusing on letting the people to do their job, and he is on the back seat and sit in the back seat, and he'll guide the people. So rather going for authoritative mode. So that is about the this comes under the U part. So that is from the tagline. What he has mentioned is a lead from behind. Yeah, that's all about the practitioner which I have mentioned. So there's a few of the things which I have not mentioned under the practitioners. So that will be those are all topics are going to talk. Girish and Shashwat are going to talk. So I'll hand out to them. So later they'll continue their part on that. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Yes. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Hello everyone, Shashwat this side. So Patrick Koa has asked many questions with the different tech leads. So I found this question Very interesting. How do you strike the right balance between writing code and dealing with the other issues? Different tech leads have different point of view. So I will go one by one and discuss it. So first lady is Alison Ross Vaughan. So what she is saying, she doesn't write code as much as when she was a developer. She splits the time between the 20 is to 80 ratio. She spends 20 percent on writing the code and 80% on dealing with the issues. So, this ratio, this ratio goes vary according to the project stage. So she also said that she is more productive. If you have to be a more productive, then you have to be a pair with the team members and provide guidance to them about the code, how they can produce rather than writing code all herself only. So another guy is Dan Annable. Okay. So what he is telling that he is not very good at technique managing the things and writing the code, but it's little bit fortunate. So he's saying that a lot of things depends on your team and the team size and the composition. So when he is having the smaller team, then he spends lot of times on the coding. But when he is having the larger teams, then he has to block some core hours for doing the coding. When he is in the multi-team deliveries, then what he does, then he pairs with the someone to write the code. So where there is a difficulty, so after solving that difficulty, a pairing member can continue with his work. So this is what the Dan Arbel thoughts. Uh, Another lady is the Isabel Dejin. So what she is saying that she loves the writing the code, but now she has to deprioritize deprioritize the coding part because she has to resolve that issues. So what she mainly focus on, she doesn't bother about the reviewing the team check-ins. Rather than she pairs up the more experienced team member of the project on the critical stories. If your team doesn't what she's telling, if your team doesn't have a team member that with that so much vast experience, then she only herself spends more time in the code base. So what again she is saying that she thinks herself as a guest in the code base, not as the owner. So a lot of time she spends on detecting the architectural skills, anti patterns. So in the future the code quality becomes the good. So what this Isabel Dejan has said. This another guy is the Martin Gustafsson. Personally, I like this guy because he follows the Shamnik concept. What is the Shamnik concept? Shamnik is one community uh, which which believes that you can find which believes that you can find a inner most good quality after having some brewery. So what he is telling that Martin Gust if you enjoy programming, that you have to learn that tech leads have a battle and there will be ups and downs. So there will be a issue and you have to the code. So you can't find that time. You get frustrated. So what the Shamnik, according to the Shamnik concept, you have to find the inner good things. So if you Martin Christoffels, what he does a little bit of coding, simple coding, then he regain his. Sorry guys for the interruption. So I'm discussing about the Martin Gustafsson. So he says that the we have to follow the Shamnik concept. So what is the Shamnik concept? It is a good spirit that protects the human being from becoming an animal. So what he is when he is frustrated with the issues and the code, he picks a small piece of the code and does and get it, which get him in the better mood. So this is the thinking of the Martin Gustafsson. So another guy is the Chris Close. What he is telling. we have to do we have to do the short conversation with the team members for. Yeah. So this is the another guy, Chris Close. What he's telling that this can be solved by the pairing the code with the most senior members. So you can discuss with the you can discuss with the issues or the short conversation for the few minutes and return to the code. So you have to still be writing a code for making the good decisions for the later part on building the infrastructure of the code that has been created. So that's all about the Chris clause. So another guy is the Adam Easterline. What he is telling that he in the daily basis he used to block the calendar between the 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So he doesn't take any meeting between this time. This time he dedicated to only for the coding purpose. What he is telling that first he'll come to the office, then he email the all the email he will do in the morning or in the late at the night. So this is what Adam Esterline is telling. So another lady is the Rachel Laycock. So it is very hard. She's telling that to get the time between writing the code and resolving the issues. So what she is telling, he she should check in the code, check in the code. Will this solution work with many things that are in the pipeline? So personally, what she thinks it is easier that he is drop out of the stories that owning them. Then she doesn't get too caught up in too much detail and she can rewind that herself. What she wants to tell that she wants to be a coach, not the coder of her team. So another guy is John Pither. So what he is telling that you can't pick both the things together. Either you have to pick the issues or you have to do the code. So better pick the one thing, not both together. So according to him that the retrospectives are also be must. So what this guy is John Pither is telling. Another guy is the Patrick Fornizer. So he gives the three approaches for resolving the issues that happens writing a code and building and writing a code and resolving the issues. First is technique is the pair program. So when he get the distracted from the program, so his pair can do work on the task. So when he returns he find it easier to back into the flow. Another approach is the delegate work. So he sit down with the people when they are working on the crucial part. As soon as he feels that they don't need him anymore, he let them, he goes away and then he again comes back. Find quite time. Third approach. So he takes a couple of every week to log himself and do the code until until the lunch time. So what these three approaches he has mentioned over here. Uh, that another lady is a Tarapovala. What she is telling that she is also mentioning that we have to do the pair programming. So certain days she doesn't book any she doesn't book for the meeting. She only do the pair programming. She opens here when the her team is going to discuss anything. So she can be noticed about what crucial point they are discussing. So after that she can make a point on that and discuss and give the solution their team members. So that's all what I have uh, learned from that. I will hand over to Girish. Ex- Girish will discuss about the more questions what he has learned.
Thank you, Shashwat. Now I'll be continuing on the next topic. What has been your biggest challenge as a tech lead? So let's start with Peter Moran. What he says is leading a team of 25 talented people to deliver a new high quality website under heavy time pressure. The technical challenges were keeping both quality and throughput high without sacrificing the good design principle that allows a system to extend, maintain, and to perform over a long period of time. Keeping technical depth low while working under pressure is extremely hard. The people aspect were to keep talented technologies developers motivated to stick to their principle and see a bigger goal. While features was slacking up and complexity grew, balancing this sometimes comparing objectives was extremely challenging. One key to handling the challenges was communication. For example, keeping people informed, seek constant feedback, take time to discuss technical issues with as many team members as possible, minimize surprises, make sure everyone on the team understands the objective of what you're trying to achieve. Give everyone a voice, be prepared to fight for what the team tells you. So this is all about Peter Moran. Now let's have a look at Christy Almond. What he says is typical day involves so many meeting or team discussion, is in constant flex of having a context switch. And he also says that he finds it difficult to complete any particular task. On top of that, it's rare that he gets a chance to code, which is a part of his job that he really enjoys and honestly what he's really good at. What he says is, I'm trying to do more and more technical things as they come up so they so that my team can be more self-sufficient and help each other instead of relying on me. I'm working on delegating more so that I have time for the important things and to get back to a state where I can contribute with doing some of the coding. In the past, I often did much of what I call heavy liftings, coding, the complex of critical pieces of the application that requires my expertise and skills. I haven't been able to do that for quite a few months due to environment we are currently in, but I hope to get back to that soon. So this is all about Christy Allman. Let's talk about Robert Hunting. What he says is the most challenging situation was one where the main end user wanted the project to fail. So this is a more common than most IT workers realize. Most people don't like a change, and a replacement IT system may endanger the current user's job. This often leads to user durability without withholding information and opposing reasonable functionality. How did you handle it? I admitted badly. Developers tend to look for a technical solution for every hand grenade thrown by the end user. I try to work around it as a technical problem. This leads to hard work and constant change. Ultimately, it's a political issue, and the solution is also political. For example, I could have tried to get buy-in from management to implement the change and stop any sabotage. Now let's look at Dan Abel. What it says is I'm allergic to Gantt charts. In deep project plan though, I love working in partnership with a great project or a project manager. Early on in my career, during the second time I was a tech lead, the project manager asked me to come up with some rough estimates based on what we knew. He wanted to have a plan to talk through during a meeting. The client took hold of his Gantt chart, simply moving along the plan without reversing it based on new information we had learned. The client wasn't interested in adjusting the plan, even after conversation highlighting the risk involved. In the end, I talked to the director and gained his support to change our work style after showing him the risks involved. Now I might solve the problem differently, but I would still attack the root cause. I cannot sit back and do nothing. If we know about something that will prevent the successful delivery, we should act on what we know, and even if it involves bad news and difficult conversation. A few years later, I had to deliver bad news myself. I inherited a project that didn't meet all client expectations. It was my job to solve the problem. I created a table highlighting the features the client expected and where we are before using that in the conversation with the client. Not talking about the issues would have made things worse. Bad news had to be dealt with a plan made over what to do next. So this is all about Dan Abel. Now let's look at John Peters. Once I stepped down from the role of tech lead as I felt I had to devote all my energy to coding. I brought the team into a state of near agony to facilitate the technology shift and felt someone else could do a better job of restoring some process, cleaning up my mess. I also felt extremely dedicated to ensuring the technology shift succeeds. So this was where I need to focus my energy. This left little time of other tech leads responsibilities that can be emotionally drained on many fronts. Since I was trying to be an agent of change, I needed someone else to take on the role of a calming agent, someone who could do better integrate the views of a team members with opposing strategies of which I was one. I could not play both roles. I found a successor who I believed had the necessary soft skill to facilitate heated decision and had the appreciation of bigger picture. Another challenge I have often encountered is dealing with team getting slayed. A team needs new blood. It needs new resource of creativity. To do this, I sought out amazing grads to lift a team, as well as soaring my network of people I highly admire whom I think should make a difference and excite people. I find it hard to deal with developers in my team who lean towards conservative or negative viewpoint. I want everyone in my team to be happy and excited, but perhaps this is one of my own failings. You need different people on the team with different viewpoints and different strengths. Just because I am the tech lead, I should not lose sleep over people not being thrilled by work the team is doing. So this is all about John Peter. So with this, I can conclude my discussion on what's been your biggest challenge as a tech lead. Thank you very much.